let me just elaborate a little further on the observation tower. You all, as candidates and as residents, may be aware that the electorate passed a bond to acquire a helicopter aircraft, which again was voted on in a bond package many years ago. And there was a decision not to fund its operations due to the fact that the operations were not funded by that bond and would be some other operational budget. Do you have any comment on problems like that when we have a public safety asset that the public has ordered and there does not appear to be operating funds to otherwise operate it or maintain it?
Helicopters, a helicopter to a fixed wing pilot is $10,000, very expensive, life limited parts flying in close formation, and but they are an extremely expensive asset to operate and maintain, and it takes a skill level that is not easy to come by in terms of personnel. I was not engaged in that issue when the bond was passed and that designation was made. I understand that the way the bond was written, that was not a contrary to the understanding of the electorate, which is a different problem. I think the bond there was some language in the bond that wasn't clear to the voters, and that's a bit of an issue for me. I think it should have been clear. But it was not a hard and fast commitment to buy that asset, and the voters voted on it based on their understanding that it would deliver that asset. And so that's an issue for me. And if I may take 60 seconds to...
Quickly, please. I want to hear from Mr. Bernhardt.
Absolutely. I want to take off on a tangent of something Mr. Bernhardt said related to the bar district. The problem in the bar district, as he said, it's not a problem of symptoms, it's a problem of cause. And the real problem there is that we have a very clear expectation in our zoning code and our general plan about how many of a certain type of any facility we're going to have in a given area. That is a fundamental principle of planning and zoning. In this case, the bar district was built up using a process called conditional use permitting. CUPs, or conditional use permits, have been issued to virtually all of the offenders in the bar district that are generating most of our problems. Those conditional use permits are by definition violations of the zoning code. That's the number one criteria for conditional use permit, is that this use does not meet the criteria for zoning in the area. But we will give you an opportunity to operate here in violation of the zoning code if you can follow the rules the best you can and be a good corporate citizen, if you will. I don't really like that term, but that's the way that we sort of look at that from a permitting process. And we have had continual violations of conditional use permits. We've built up a density there that's unacceptable.
Something I spoke about earlier is our public safety officers have to have the confidence that the mayor and the city council have gone through the budget and ensured that they have looked at every extraneous expense. And if there is room in the budget at that point, when a public safety official comes to the mayor and the council and says, we need a helicopter, or we need a tower, or we need new turnout gear, that they have the confidence of knowing that the response is that we can do that or we can't do that based on a very efficient, lean budget. Right now, the reason, in my opinion, that there's very low morale is because they see all this extraneous spending and these Taj Mahal public buildings, and they don't get the answer they need when it's critical equipment that they need, and they say, wait a second, you're spending $300,000 on a statue from a New York artist and I can't get gear for my